Yo guys, hey, what's up? It's your boy here, Ken. Here with some breaking news that I just found out, just waking up. WWE has just fired um, some talents today. They just did a talent cut, just unexpectedly out of the blue, and there's more that they're going to cut today. Um, but this is just a shocker, just from some of the names that they've released so far. So far they've released six wrestlers. And here's the list that they've released. Uh, Santana Garrett. I don't recall. I don't even think. I think she might have been someone from NXT. I don't remember. Uh, Ruby Riot. That one's a little bit of a shocker. Lana. That one I'm kind of a little 50-50 on. I mean, I think it's kind of inevitable where she'll be going. Uh, Now we get to the shocker names here. Buddy Murphy, who I think wasn't even given a chance. Aleister Black has been released. Um, this one is a shocker, but also, again, kind of really not surprising. Because Aleister Black hadn't really done anything for the last year. He hasn't been injured or anything, and he was just on SmackDown like last week, interfering in the Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental title match on SmackDown, potentially having a feud with Big E, and they already cut him. That one just really baffles me. Here's a guy who had all the potential in the world. They kind of stripped him of everything what made him special and cool. He kind of sits on the sidelines for a better part of the year. Then they kind of bring him back with this new character. He makes his, I guess you say, his reappearance in this new character last week, and already they cut him. That one's a shocker. The biggest name to me that is surprised that they released so far on this short list right here of me announcing this is Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is a huge shock, just because Braun Strowman is a guy I thought did well in WWE. Now you could say that they haven't really done much with him for the better part of the last year, but I thought Braun Strowman was like their type of guy. I mean, I remember Triple H going back and saying 3 years ago, he's like, Braun is the big guy we were looking for. He's that big monster guy we've been looking for years, like a Big Show or, Mark Henry and other, giants. And Braun Strowman has been a success story, I think, in WWE. I mean, he's a guy who barely had any time, and they took him straight from PC Center and dumped him on the main roster. Um, Outside of Bray Wyatt, he was like really the only guy from the Wyatt family that kind of caught on and was being elevated to another level. Um, had feuds with Roman Reigns, Money in the Bank winner, former Universal Champion. I think he may have won the Intercontinental title too at some point. But they've made investments in Braun, and that's a guy I don't see of all people out of all the names that so far that have been released. I don't know how WWE does not know what to do with a guy like a Braun Strowman. I mean, of the six names that I just mentioned here, this is the guy that's had the most investment from WWE, and to me, to some degree, they've got some return of that investment within Braun Strowman. Again, like I said, the past year haven't really done anything much with Braun, but that's not on Braun. I blame WWE for that, because if you go back 3 years ago, Braun Strowman was one of the hottest guys on the roster. His feud with Roman Reigns made him one of the most hottest guys on the roster. The things that they were doing with him to show off his strength and whatnot, that was some of the best segments and stuff on Raw 3 years ago. He was over. He was hot. Where they messed up with Braun Strowman was not pulling the trigger when they did. They booked themselves in the corner. They fed him to Brock Lesnar not once, but I believe twice. He took the pinfall, even in the triple threat I think he had, or the Fatal 4-Way I think it was with him. Yeah, because he did a Fatal 4-Way between Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Braun, and I believe Brock. And I think Braun Strowman got ate the pin in that fatal 4-way. So every time when it came to elevating to that next level, WWE kind of fucked Braun over. They really did. I'm not gonna even lie. And so when you do that, and doing the jokes of him being stupid and stuff like that, you're perceiving him in a different light for the audience. So the audience aren't going to get invested. And they do that, Braun loses steam. I mean, he was Universal Champion by default. Let's not forget that, because Roman Reigns, you know, pandemic era, whatnot. But still, like, you chose him. He beat a legend in Goldberg, became world champion on the SmackDown brand. And again, it's like they didn't know what to do with him. He was just a placeholder. Then you get him in this feud with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, which we all said the story was stupid. But let's be real, in WWE, any program that you can get with a McMahon, a member of the McMahon family, and at WrestleMania, that is a spot any wrestler on the WWE roster would kill for. It's a high profiling spot. Program with a McMahon, family member, spot at WrestleMania. I mean, that's probably like the next best thing outside of like a world title match for a wrestler in WWE at WrestleMania. For him to go from that, then he just had a triple threat match, which I thought was a good triple threat between him and Lashley and McIntyre. That one I'm really surprised at. I'm really surprised that they cut Braun Strowman. Buddy Murphy is another guy, kind of similar to, I'd probably say similar to an Aleister Black. Really didn't get a good fair chance. He got himself over with his excellent matches with Roman Reigns. They put him with Rollins, which to me I thought was I wasn't feeling it, but I was like, hey, it's something to do to get him on TV. He's beaten Seth Rollins. He had this whole feud between Rollins and the Rey Mysterio family. And then he kind of went back to, being being in the basement. They kind of put him back in the basement, and he was just like sitting there. Buddy Murphy, I think, needs to be picked up from MLW. You got to be looking at these talent releases today so far, because there's more to come, and I'm going to be reporting on these as well. But you got to be looking at these reports, and you got to be looking at people like New Japan, definitely Tony Khan, but he really shouldn't be. Kurt Bauer of MLW. They're looking at these, and they're gonna be opening up the checkbooks. Buddy Murphy, I think, can thrive in an MLW for sure. MLW, I think, would be an excellent fit for Buddy Murphy. Aleister Black, anywhere from MLW to even New Japan, I think it'd be perfect for Aleister Black. Braun, where could Braun go? I don't know. I think Braun will be good for an MLW. But I think New Japan will be excellent for Braun. I think it might be inevitable where he could go. He could be all elite. This is why I say Tony Khan's got to be very selective in picking out guys that he's picked from WWE. Because in a case like this, you could get a guy like an Aleister Black, maybe possibly a Braun Strowman, and it wouldn't be a bad get. It wouldn't be a bad thing. Now, I do know AEW, they just released 2 wrestlers of their own. They released, or not released, but they didn't renew 2 contracts for 2 of their female wrestlers, one of them being Awesome Kong. So AEW's got some free roster space, you could say. I don't think that should negate to them getting anybody on this list that got released. But I think it's inevitable. Somebody off this list we're going to see an all elite. I'm just not an advocate for that. I think Murphy can thrive in Major League Wrestling. I think Tommy End can rejuvenate his career in New Japan. And I think Braun can do well in New Japan. This is shocking. This is kind of shocking. I don't know what WWE are doing, because these are people that, like, you could say kind of take up space on the roster, but then who are they going to build up? Other names I'm kind of hearing float out there is a Keith Lee or an Angel Garza. These are names that are just being floated out there. It's not confirmed. But more names are to come to be cut. today. So maybe within the next hour, hour or two, those names might be added onto that list. And I wouldn't be surprised if Keith Lee was on that list, because Keith Lee's been a funky situation where, like, he just kind of vanished. We don't know what happened to him, and he's leaving all of these very vague tweets about, when my time comes, I'm going to explain everything to you guys. Just be patient with me. Just wait. He's not injured. There's no report of injury. Last we knew about him was that he may have contracted COVID, but that was like months ago. Dude should have been cleared, have been back by now. But for him leaving these very vague tweets about, when the time comes, I'm going to explain everything to you guys, I promise, and blah, 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 kind of makes you wonder if there's something else going on behind the scenes. Kind of makes you wonder, could Keith Lee be on the shopping blocks? I wouldn't be surprised if Keith Lee be another name that gets dropped and being cut today. But this is just my thoughts so far, guys. I'm going to be keeping you guys updated. What do you think of the names so far that have been dropped from WWE? Where do you like to see them go? Where do you think they would go? I'm hearing your thoughts in the box below. Comment, subscribe. Peace out.